All right. Welcome back to a brand new video of the Target Individual Program, talking about the experience. Yeah, the purpose. As soon as they see me, they start digging in their bag. Like as soon as she saw me, she started digging in her bag. And then looking at the dude behind me. The dude behind me walking. I saw him. He's wearing a mask, right? So even in the house, they're subliminal. They're using my sister today again. As I got up to exit out my room to go in the kitchen to, make breakfast, she's like, staring down at her nails, sticking her hands out, staring down at her nails. That's all the shit that they just do also, that I've caught them doing on video. Right? And then, she walks towards the door. She left for a little bit, left the phone in the house on the table. And I'm like, that's kind of odd, But anyhow, I'm not trying to think too much into it. But this is what they'll do, And it's weird.
Yes, sir.
Your Majesty, how are you?
Good, sir.
How's the Queen?
Good.
Good. How are you? What's going on? Yeah? Who's that, your grandson? Your grandson?
That is my last son.
Oh, that's the little one that was there? Wow, man. I know, hold on a second. Oh, yeah, the sirens. Yeah, the New York Police Department, man, let me tell you, last night, what was it, right before I went to bed, I started having the ice pick headache again. Very, very painful. The top of my head, I couldn't even touch it. That's how painful it was. I laid down to go to sleep, and my head, top of my head hit as I laid down. It hit my headboard, and I was in so much pain. Then of course, followed by the ice pick headaches. Very, very painful. I have a few serotonin left, so I ended up taking one, and that helped. But I got to go to the pharmacy, to get it refilled. Using teenagers. Using teenagers. And, but yeah, I got to go to the pharmacy to refill my prescription. I probably need to go to my doctor too. I was supposed to go get a shoulder exam, MRI done on my shoulder, but I didn't go. Sometimes they target you so much that it affects you, Sometimes you just don't want to deal with the targeting at times, And it's subconsciously, right? So subconsciously, if you're not always consciously thinking about these things, what, they got a hearse? Oh, I haven't seen one of them in a while. Is that a hearse? Oh, yes, it is. With the ambulance, right?
Oh, I didn't get the stuff for the macaroni.
So, I talk about them using hearses before. Am I targeting? There you go. Had I walked that direction, it would have been part of their plan. Even though I did look to see though. I guess that's why the ambulance was using the sirens, because they wanted me to look down there. They know I got to go to the train station to put money on my Metro card, right? I should say my Omni card. So they'll adjust, like I said, because of the remote door monitoring, because of their surveillance on my bank account and stuff like that, on my store cards. They will use this information and they use surveillance to target me, right? So, like I said, this is being done to a lot of us, but we don't even know it. Particularly most black people are targeted and fail to understand in what way. They talk about racism. Yeah, that's true, right? But what are the different forms of racism? right? We tend to only look at the obvious, right? And though some of us can't even see the obvious. Some of us are so blinded that we can't see the reality for what it is, right? But you know, when you fail to not recognize your oppression in its current modern form, you know, you tend to be oblivious to a lot of shit that happens, right? Oppression has many forms. And like I said, our minds adapt to it and adjust to it and reproduce children that will adjust to it and adapt to it even more, right? That's through what is called epigenetics. See, racist people use science against us. They use economic against us. They use education against us. And the only thing we use against them is religion. And how's that working out for us, right? We can get on our knees and pray to the same God who is allowing them to do the exact same thing to us, right? That their ancestors done, except this is a modern form of oppression. So how does that work out for us? Okay? But we fail to realize it. So we place our values on material things, and owning material things, we think that we're equal to whites, right? But you look at the wealth gap, right? The economic gap. Look at the economic gap, the wealth gap between black people and white people. If you really want to see what oppression really looks like economically, right? So again, like I said, we place our value on material things. But in terms of wealth accumulation, we have none. We have none. But at least we could dress nice, we can look nice, we can drive nice cars, we can live in a nice house, right? Right? But with no wealth in our accounts. No land to own, right? No businesses to own. At least businesses that brings in, you know, the multi-million dollars and employ hundreds of thousands of people. We don't have it. Uh-oh. And I gotta keep the camera rolling. I gotta keep the camera rolling.
Here's the record of my money. Yeah, I know. Alright, it's
Yeah, I'm keeping the camera rolling.
okay.
Oh, yeah, the 5 trucks again?
Right, exactly. Get your receipt. The money should be in your card, okay?
Oh, what you said makes sense, bro. Thank you, bro. Give it to me, man. Have a good day.
You too, man.
All right. Okay. I want to add custom on. Yeah. Okay. All right, so yeah, I have to keep the camera rolling whenever I see the New York Predator Department out in the train station. And again, the fire truck. So the reason why they brought out the fire trucks because they were using my sister to send me a subliminal message about, if I leave the house, the whole assassination thing, what have you. It's like these people don't learn, man. They don't learn at all. Right? They don't learn that my purpose is greater than theirs. All right? See, what religion does to a people, including within families, is that those who are religious are fanatical in their thinking. They're sadistical in their mindset, also in their thinking. Right? So a sadist mindset is part of the religious indoctrination. Right? It's all conditioning. And that's how I look at it. I look at our personalities, what we believe is part of the conditioning. And yes, we are all conditioned within society. But when you look at progressive societies that are not religious, they tend to do better. Not only do they do better, but the people do better and know better. The people are more civilized. The people are more humanized, and they treat each other with humanity more than those that are nations that are so-called religious nations. Right? And again, not me just saying that. See, people like to think that because I speak out against religion, it's because I hate God or whatever. I can't hate a God that don't exist, okay? Because your God only exists in your mind and in your book called the Bible or your Quran. Your God don't exist anywhere else. And the fact that we continue to use the word God is a testament of white supremacy, right? Because God is a German word to describe a German deity, right? Not the so-called deity of the ancient people who call themselves Israelites and Hebrews, or Hebrew Israelites, right? So again, and when you look at the English language, a lot of the English language uses words from Germany, particularly within the past, I would say 300-400 years, right? Actually more than that, right? For about 400 years, 400 or 500 years, okay? Because when you go and you look at the, I said the very first English translation, you would not see the word God in there, right? You would not see the word God in there. So like I said, we are calling on a deity that is of German origin, placed into a book that we today call the Bible. Right? Because if you understand, and you read about the history of religion, particularly in that region, right, in Northeast Africa, and make no mistake about it, it was called Northeast Africa before it became the so-called Middle East, all right? Before they built the Suez Canal, and then rename it to the Middle East. White people have always defined and named lands and places that had names already. And we tend to adapt the white version of things, the white definition of things, right? The white ideology of things, without understanding your own people ideology, your own people naming of places, all right? It's a reason why, and the Arabs do it too. It's a reason why they don't use the word Kemet. That everything is named Egypt, right? When they know, we know, white people know, that the word Egypt only came about after the invasion of the Greeks, Alexander the Greek, right? And I say Alexander the Greek, and black people will say, well, no, Alexander the Great. No, Alexander was not great. Okay? He was not great. Greece was not great. All right? You know who and what was great? Kemet was great. The people of Kemet was who was great. Right? You know who the greatest general in the past 600 years? You know who it isn't Napoleon. It isn't George Washington. is Toussaint Louverture, right? The commander in general of the Haitian army. That is who's the great. But we tend to again ignore our heroes and heroes, for white heroes and heroes, and for anybody heroes and heroes that don't look like us. So yeah, Negropeans and Sambos are one and the same. You know, I was on Facebook and it was posting about Uncle Tom. You know, and it was like using the Oxford English and Webster translation of Uncle Tom. You know, and the fact that yes, Malcolm X did call, you know, house Negroes Uncle Tom. But did Malcolm X ever read Uncle Tom's Cabin? So, you know, I love Malcolm X, and I emulate part of who I am with some of the characters of Malcolm X, as with Dr. King, as with Nat Turner, as with Harriet Tubman, as with anybody that I look up to as my heroes and heroes. Okay? Yes. And so, again, there is Malcolm X, brilliant man, was a brilliant man. He still is, because he lives within his children, right? This is Dr. King. Still live because he lives within his children. So these people are never gone unless they're end their bloodline. And that's what whites do when it comes to our heroes and heroes. They create ways and develop ways to end our heroes and heroes' bloodline, because they will return. Right? They are part of their sons and daughters. But somewhere along the line, they will be reborn. You see, white people understand that. Why is it that we don't understand that? Right? We talk about resurrection, and we talk about Jesus Christ being resurrected, and Jesus Christ is a mythological figure. But we ignore the resurrection of us within our children. We ignore the resurrection of our ancestors within us and our children. Like I said, you know, I keep saying, the Sambos are going to be Sambos. You can't help them if you can't educate them. Right? You cannot help them if you can't educate them. And like I said, like Bernie Mac said, I ain't scared of none of you motherfuckers. Understand that. If there's a knife for me, there's a knife for you. If there's a bullet for me, there's a bullet for you. That I know. I don't believe. I know. Anyway, I'll discuss this conversation when I get off the bus. Gotta remember, I'm talking about these things, right? It's important. All right, no. Look at that, 3 buses, right? Patterns of 3s. See, look, nobody don't want to move down on the bus. That's why. They all stand up to the front. I want you guys to see this, right? No one is moving down in the bus. They all stand up in the front. Look how much space they have here. Look at it. Right? That is the mindset of our people. All right, let's get to that. Look at this shit. Look at this motherfucker. I'm telling you. I guess they want me to get the 3rd bus. It's okay. You know, I always say last man standing, right, is the winner. I'll tell you, hilarious. I'm glad I'm able to show you guys exactly what they do. Make sure I'm still recording.
Please exit through the rear door.